The beginning of the Latin American mission and the history of the Strachan-Beimish family are inseparable. The Strachans went to Argentina in the early 1900s to be evangelists, to evangelize that country. From there, they moved to Costa Rica and started the mission in 1921 as the Latin American Evangelistic Campaign. The primary emphasis of the ministries of Latin American Mission has been evangelism. For the first decades, Harry Strachan and his team, his wife, they were fairly involved with many ministries of evangelization in the continent through Bible distribution, through evangelistic campaigns, and in some cases, city-wide crusades, later coming to what was called evangelism in depth, doing crusades with Billy Graham and other evangelists throughout the continent. The mission has also been very involved with theological education in Colombia and in Costa Rica in particular. And some of the institutions they were used to found are still operating and training leaders for the ministry in this continent and beyond. LAM also engaged in church planting, and there's a very fruitful ministry outgrowth of that initiative of the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. In Colombia today, there is the IESC, the Association of Evangelical Churches of the Caribbean, with over 1,000 churches in that country. And also in Costa Rica, the Asociación de Iglesias Bíblicas de Costa Rica, IESC, also is a very fruitful ministry, church ministry in that country. So evangelism, theological education, church planting. We also got engaged with student ministry, as for example, UCO in Colombia. It was founded by LAM missionaries. LAM has also, from the very beginning, responded to the needs of the continent in terms of health and social, relieving poverty. So in Costa Rica, for example, there are some very successful ministries that started very early on in this century. We have the Clínica Bíblica, which is one of the largest, if not the largest hospital in Costa Rica, was started as a ministry of the Latin American Mission. You have the chicken hatchery, which produces over 500,000 chicks every month and has great part of the market in both Costa Rica, Panama, and Nicaragua. That hatchery employs over 120 people, and the profit is used to support the ministry of the Child Care Association, Roble Alto Child Care Association. So LAM has been also involved with many camping ministries like the Camping International Association of Latin America, camps in Honduras, in Costa Rica, and other countries, Brazil, etc. 50 years after the mission had been officially incorporated in 1921. So in 1971, LAM relinquished all of its assets, all of the mission's projects under national leadership. So that began a new direction, a new missiological approach in its work in the continent. So, and that sense of partnership, working alongside and with nationals, continues to be one of the missiological marks of Latin American Mission. So we ask ourselves, what's the future of LAM? Where would we go as we are now? I think one of the high marks of LAM was this partnership with national leadership. And I believe God continues to call us to be engaged and associated and support national leadership. I like to think that the origin of the mission is in the heart of God. Jesus himself, when he saw the crowds and saw that they were harassed and helpless, he felt compassion for them. And he said, pray that the Lord of the harvest will send laborers into the field. So as we pray today, there is a large church in this continent, and together we have responsibilities to the rest of the world. And I pray LAM will come alongside these initiatives throughout the continent in individual churches and other organizations to send people beyond our frontiers, beyond our own continent, and within the continent itself. We are working currently with indigenous peoples in Brazil and in Honduras. And I think that is a beautiful moment in our history to be reaching out to this unreached peoples in the Amazon, for example. So may the Lord continue to give us energy and vision and material support to be able to continue to advance the kingdom of God in Latin America and beyond. 2021, last year, we celebrated our 100th anniversary. And my prayer is that the legacy of LAM as a Bible-based mission, faith mission, believing the totality of God's revelation through scriptures, dedicated to evangelism, to leadership development, theological education, a holistic approach to missions, supporting nationals, partnering with churches and organizations in North America and in Latin America. May God bless us to continue to pursue this legacy, this missionary legacy of our founders in the early 1900s. The Lord bless you. The Lord bless the ministry of LAM.